One. Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Rom back at you with yet another video. I have a special guest, Cousin T Taw, and this is All the Queen's Men Review, and that's a show on BET Plus. And the premise is this woman played by Eva Marcel playing someone called Madam. I forgot her last name already, but Madam LaVille, and she runs this male exotic dancing club, but then she's really a crime lord. So she's doing some other stuff. Now, let me just say something real quick. If it didn't have the male exotic dancing part and presenting some real game there, y'all wouldn't see this video. I'll just say, if it was just like about the crime lord, I'd be like, no. I mean, you know what? Tyler Perry, yeah, he's big and all, but I don't think he's going to win a Pulitzer. He's not going to win a Pulitzer. And I was just like, you got to be kidding. As a professional writer, I was just like, you got to be kidding. But the thing is, we reviewing it not so much for that part, but for the male exotic dancing part, because there was so much game presented by them. And I'm bringing the expert on who knows about that life, Cousin T Taw. So what were your thoughts about that show? Let's skip over the bad other stuff. let's just focus on these guys.
Yeah.
And the game they presented.
So for anybody who wants to watch this show, just suspend disbelief. All right. In terms of, it being good with plot elements and things like that. But basically, the elements that were presented, you can tell that the dancers had a lot of input, because there are so many elements that were actually, transferable from real life that were presented in this series. And just a few to highlight was, okay, so Madam, played by Eva, she's the queen bee. Okay, she's the queen madam in the story, the queen pin, if you will. And her number one, her second in command is Blue. Okay, and the third in command is DJ Dime. Okay, so that's your basic hierarchy there in terms of the leadership. So within her club structure, she does not have any male leadership. Mm-hmm. Which off the bat is interesting.
Yeah, it really is. They just didn't, and that was another element. See, that's getting more into some of the political stuff that was low key in there. But just keep going with the elements that you picked out as a professional.
Right. Now, so that's not in and of itself completely inaccurate. So because in male exotic entertainment, your managers and your agents, the ones who actually go get the business, are female, are women, because they relate to women clients. They're the ones who set up the bridal showers, they set up the divorce parties. They're basically networking within professional female networks and working class women networks. So the element of women being the ones who are promoting, women being the ones who are managing those spaces, that's accurate. Now, management and leadership are two different things. Mm-hmm. So I want to point that out. So for example, the club that I worked at, one of the spots that I worked at, the leadership was a man. He was an entertainer himself, but his manager, the bar manager and general manager, was his girlfriend, fiance, however you want to put it. So it's understandable that the management would be female, because they're the ones who provide the sort of safe network between, the male dancers and the female clientele. So that aspect was accurate. But I want to say, in terms of leadership, that's not the case. I'm going to say 99% of the time, because of how grimy the business is, because of how cutthroat the business is. You still need someone who has that protection element. And they tried to present that with Eva or the Madam, but you could tell where, you know, a lot of things were transferred from a traditionally masculine role over to the female lead. So that's all I got to say about that. In terms of the dancers, the hierarchy, and I did a video on this. I think I did like 6 different dancers that you meet at the club. So with this element, this was accurate. They had 4 main event guys. Okay, they call them the top dancers, the big boys, the VIP dancers, and they had their own locker room. They had their own sort of gym room area, and that's very accurate. So
well, let me stop you real quick, because that's something I picked up on, because even though I've known plenty of dancers, I'm not familiar with that world to that extent. Could have been, but that's a long story. But I was peeping that, because they were ready to kick some ass for other guys walking in there. And I said, oh, okay. I'm gonna need Cousin T Taw to talk about this, and you are. So continue. I'm glad you brought that up.
Right. So they had the so it's like the A squad and the B squad, right? For anybody who's played sports, or the franchise players and the practice squad or the farm team. Okay, so the full roster or the starters, those were the top 4. It was Midnight, Fuego, Babyface, and Doc. Okay, the B squad or the practice squad will be the guys that came in after them, after the amateur night. Okay, and amateur night is basically the farm team, where they do the inspections and things like that. And that was actually very accurate as well. Okay. In terms of how the quote unquote job interview goes with that. And I've mentioned this before in different videos. You are brought in, and basically your interview is you're shown the venue, and at the end you are required to strip down. And depending on if it's a partial nude venue or a full nude venue with a exclusive VIP area, you're required to strip down naked. Okay, or if you brought a thong, strip down to your thong, so that they can judge your manhood. And that's the raw truth of it. So that was a accurate element in there. And at the end of the day, and this is something I definitely made sure that I put in my book, The Seduction Scriptures. If you are, so I'm going to quote. This is a great quote that Madam, aka Eva, put in there when a guy was, asking her for a job interview. Right? She said, "If your inches are less than the digits in your phone number, don't come." So
that was some cold-blooded stuff, man.
Oh, that was a good line, right? That was a good takeaway line. So in a sort of cloak sort of term, she said, if you don't meet this minimum requirement, don't bother. Okay. But the thing about it is, and for anybody who's interested in getting into that lifestyle, the industry or whatever, if you don't measure up to that minimum requirement, you can always be a bartender, barkeep, door guy, valet. There's other positions that, if you're athletic build, you can be a server, so many other things that you can do. But in terms of the main event, don't fool yourself into thinking that, that's something that you're going to be able to do if you do not measure up. Okay. That's if you're in a major market or anything like that. But their demographic, and there was actually a part in one of the episodes where she made it known that they cater to a predominantly Black audience.
Yeah.
And she's like, she even said it. She said, my clientele want aggressive performers. They crave aggressive. They crave dominance. And so if Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, see, that's a bigger part because I'm quite sure somebody watching this is say, you talking about these dancers and stuff. I'm not a dancer. But there is so much that happens in that world that can be applied to the real world. There is so much because these women are paying not just for the bodies, but for a certain level of dominance, aggression, everything. They are paying for it. I mean, and then we can get into the numerous sex scenes later because they were a trip. But that's a very powerful thing. That's a very powerful lesson for anybody watching this. These women are paying for it. That's how much they want it. But continue on, continue on.
Yeah, no, and that's a very good point that you make. When I present topics centering around seduction, when I present topics centering around how you present your masculine prowess, it's not necessarily for single guys who are looking to sow their oats or to, explore a variety of women. Now, obviously, it can be applied that way, but for guys who are in a relationship, in a marriage or anything like that,
yeah,
you still have to seduce. You still have to bring elements of excitement to your space. She still needs to have your hand around her neck at that time. She still needs to be dominated and to be reminded of your prowess. But that's another conversation for another day. We're just talking about the transferables. So anyway, what I thought was interesting was that they had a scene. They were talking about midnight, and okay, so in the exotic entertainment space, the man is expected to be aroused or present himself in a state of arousal, and there are a lot of tools and techniques that can be used to achieve that. You got pumps. You've got rings. Some guys use ace bandages. Some guys use rubber bands or whatever. But what happens is when you cut off blood flow in order to maintain arousal for an extended period of time, depending on genetics, how you impact that, you can start to damage the chambers. Okay, the chambers that become engorged with blood, and so. Depending on your presentation, how you go about doing it. In this case, Midnight was using rings to trap the blood in the chambers. And so over time, he developed a sort of atrophy event with some of his chambers. And his urologist explained to him that if you continue to do this, you can lose you can lose your pipe. Okay. And so I think so that's an extreme situation. Usually what happens with guys is if they overdo it, they fail to be able to get aroused. That's usually what happens. Okay. And so they require an amount of external stimulus. And so depending on the venue, depending on the club, you got waitresses, you got oil women, or you can bring in a female assistant, and they are what they provide fluffing. Okay. If anybody's familiar with porn stars, historically, they have what's called fluffers, which the women assist the men in becoming aroused. Now, they did not present that in this particular series. What they did show was a scene with Midnight watching porn and jerking himself in order to get an arousal or become aroused. And usually what happens is once the entertainer becomes aroused, then he would apply the rings or the bands or the ace band, whatever his method of trapping the blood flow in those chambers would be. So that was accurate. I would say halfway accurate in terms of how you manage your anatomy in those cases. Now, what was interesting was when Madam walked in on him watching the porn to get himself excited. And they had the dialogue back and forth, and he explained to her what was going on. I thought that she was going to be like, okay, you can stuff, okay, which means you can use a prop, right? Or you can use an extension in terms of appendages. You know, different sex shops have these tools and these elements to supplement you know, having to put that much pressure on your anatomy for an extended period of time. So I thought that was an interesting part that they highlighted with that thing. So I don't know if you want to break down that or anything else. So
I'm gonna let you keep going. You're the master of this. I'm like, what? I told you. I've known some people in that world, but you're in that world. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. So I'm just letting you talk. You know?
Right. So another really interesting thing about it is, and I like, so every now and again, they got some really good quotables in here. So I made sure to write down the good quotes.
Okay.
So there's a situation with the dancer called Babyface, or they call him Face, where he had baby mama drama. And,
yeah.
And so maybe you could expound on just guys having baby mama drama and being like, you know, exploited, you know, for and held captive basically by the system.
Oh, you know what? And see, I definitely related to that aspect because there have been outside of your world that has those issues, you know, because the other day I was talking about like most cases, you know, women don't want a better looking man than them. But I did use the word most. And I said 2 specific instances where a woman will do that, usually a like unattractive woman, or in this case, an overweight woman who's reaching that, she wants that validation, she wants that man, and she's willing to pay for it. I believe I even said that during the video. They'll pay for it. And also cougars, older women, they'll pay for it. Because Babyface, he caught it twice. Okay, he had the one big girl, and she was paying for everything. Okay, you were writing down the names. I'll just be calling big girl and whatnot. But then he had the other wives for an older woman, the judge. She was fat than a motherfucker. I was like, damn. She basically blackmailed him into giving her some dick.
Right.
She blackmailed him. I was like, damn. And dude is basically, in my view, as a character, really wasn't standing up. Because even his boys were saying, hey, man, you need to get your own stuff. You need to do this and that. He was basically a concubine.
Yes.
And that's a real thing. That's a real thing, because you do get some men like that. Now, somebody might say, well, he getting the pussy, but under what circumstances is he getting? You know, he getting a judge, a married judge blackmailing, another woman totally controlling him. I mean, he had nothing. He had nothing. She got his apartment. Her apartment's in her name. He driving her car. I'm like, and that's some real stuff there. See, that's some of the stuff I focus more on. Those some real dynamics, and those are the exceptions when you will see an average looking woman or older woman with a better looking man. Those are the exceptions, and it's usually a situation of control because they want it so badly. They want that validation. Now, if he had his own stuff, he probably wouldn't mess with any one of them.
And that's the point. And that's what the other guys were trying to get him to appreciate. So he was caught up 3 ways. He was caught up with his baby mama, right? Yeah. And whatever lifestyle she was living from receiving payments from him, he was caught up with the lawyer who was financing his lifestyle. She paid for his, like you said, his apartment, his vehicle, which I think was a Porsche or something like that, and his clothes and stuff like that. Basically, his lifestyle. And he was caught up with the judge.
Exactly.
Judge presiding over his child support case, which, you know, she wanted head on the man. She wanted to be slayed on the man. Okay, so this is the whole thing. And I'm gonna use this quote that Madam, aka Eva, put out there. She said, never stick your dick in the cash register. Okay.
Mhm.
No truer words have ever been spoken. So I think this was mentioned in a webinar series that we did a while ago, but it's sort of the flip role reversal in the exotic entertainer world, the male exotic entertainer world, and in that you will be looked down upon if you're smashing the clients.
Mm-hmm.
Just like if you got a high body count, you known for having sex with the females at the spot,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be called the hoe. You'll be called, community, that your rank will go down. Just like in the real world, the vanilla world, same thing with a woman who gets a reputation for just being known for being passed around outside. So you're there for the fantasy. You're there to present, the allure of passion, heat, seduction, eroticism in that spot. Once your scene is over, once everybody's paid and everything like that, then you bounce. Okay. What was presented here was that Babyface was smashing at the club.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it happens. Let me be clear. Yeah. It happens in VIP, but there's a reason why it's frowned upon and it's not supposed to happen. And the reason was revealed there. Of course, they had a real corny situation where he was smashing the judge in VIP, and his lawyer, benefactor, snuck into VIP and caught them smashing. Now she calling him all kinds of hoes and threatening to ruin his life and stuff like that. And that's really why. That's really why they're like, if you're gonna carry on extracurricular activities, that need to be done off the premises, off venue, outside of that establishment and things like that. So that's a really good, real, true sort of lesson that they put out there in terms of how far to go with the fantasy. Because once you cross that line, there's no longer a fantasy. She's getting it. And especially with a woman like that, a woman of considerable means, once she gets that hit of that ASP Holy Ghost, once she gets that hit of morphine, once she gets that hit of those opioids, she gonna want Push that supply. Exactly.
Push her, man. She ain't tapping her arm, she tapping her thighs. She needs it. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, that's some real talk right there. That's some real talk. But what else you pick up from there? What else? Because like I said, this your show, man. You know that. I mean, I got some observations and stuff, but you know the inside stuff. So what else you pick up in there? Because you said it was three things that you wanted to bring up.
Well, in terms of what happens outside of the venue space, outside of off stage, in your private life. So I think they did a good job of showing like the gym scene with Fuego, right? And the gym director.
Yeah.
I don't know if she was a gym manager or gym director.
Now, real quick.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Like I said, I went in, the dance of life, but I can relate to the Fuego scene and stuff like that. I could relate. Like I'm OG now. I'm past all of that, but I'm somewhat past all of that. But stuff like that happens when you that man. That's why I always talk about body game. A woman's always going to be throwing that at you. In fact, I found it interesting that it not only the Fuego scene, but the Doc scene. He started out boning somebody's wife, and boning a couple wives in there, really. And
right.
And he was just kind of chill with it, but he boning her. He really dominating her in the bed till her husband came home. So I was like, wait a minute, okay, all right. They got all that accurate because, like I said, this is why I promote body game. See, a lot of guys, okay, you can have that game and everything, but when you get women in that state of lust, they don't care. They got to satisfy it. They are literally tapping their thighs for that drug. They get addicted. In fact, the new dancer, Madam's nephew that came out of prison,
Right.
you know, and you know, he was kind of calm and cool, but then he was like, hey, I can make some money doing this. And what's the name they gave him? Addiction. I was like, oh man. You know, and which is interesting because that's one thing, and you had talked about this in when I was at a gym where we had a bunch of dancers. They actually gave me a name. You know, it's always about your personality, and I'll share the name. It was Gunslinger. We don't want to get into why, but it was Gunslinger. So it was, you know, that was just an interesting dynamic because it's looking at their personality and everything, and then even how they were. Away from there, yeah, they were doing it, but you have Fuego, he could probably hack your computer and everything, you know. So that was an interesting thing. And yeah, Doc, well, only thing I saw him doing extra was just boning. And of course, Midnight, I mean, yeah, he had that his joint problem, but he was kind of like the muscle.
Right.
He was the muscle, he was the sheer muscle. I mean, you know, Madam actually had him stop dancing just to handle some business with someone. I mean, and that was an interesting dynamic with it.
Yeah, they showed a lot of extracurricular things. And since I'll get back to Fuego, but since you mentioned Midnight, I like how they just casually opened up on the scene with him engaging in a threesome, right? And the average man doesn't sort of grasp how often that happens. And when I put out content in terms of the logistics of a threesome, maintaining a threesome, why I recommend every man at least attempt a threesome, it's so that most men get an understanding of what an abundance of feminine essence really means, right? Because if you're able to balance that and to go between scenes and know what comes next and to be able to manage, you know, that space, then you have not only good insight into the female psyche, but insight into your own prowess, your own sort of stature, sexual stature as a man. So I thought that was a good thing that they showed that transition and just showing, you know, the various sort of spectrums of how men in that space express their prowess. Okay, you can express it in the fantasy scene, making your money or whatever. You can express it in the seduction scene, and they were showing the actual interactions with women outside of the venue space. Yeah. Which brings me back to Fuego. Now, the situation with Fuego was with the gym director or that gym manager, that gave insight into the shadow world and how quickly and easily all she was like, hey, come fix my computer. I give these, you know what I'm saying? I give these examples of the package delivery guy or the plumber or the electrician or the carpenter coming through corporate spaces, just like, okay, I gotta, you know, replace the copy machine, or I gotta fix this lighting or whatever.
Man, hey, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've heard about you know, some people who knew some people about UPS guys. They might go into some office, the woman bend to, you know, go in, deliver a package. Women bend over, get theirs real quick, and they don't break stride in their deliveries at all.
Absolutely.
I mean, it gets like that. People don't realize that. Like, you know, there's like just the nature of women when they want that good, they're going to get it. And sometimes they'll get it and still go home to their husbands and, you know, do their 5 minutes of pancake sex.
Hilarious.
They will do that. And see, that was a good thing because dude was kind of just wanted to work out and stuff, but she was like, hey, you got to fix my computer and everything. And, you know, she just went right down on him. He was trying to do something, you know, it's like, okay, you got this attractive woman. She just going to give you that quick blowjob. What you going to do? You know?
And she wanted way more than just a blowjob. That's what she had to settle for.
Mm-hmm.
And that scene, it's so telling,
Mm-hmm.
because she knew, she had an inkling about what lifestyle Fuego was living, but she mentioned that she saw a video. She saw a video that somebody posted of him dancing, them in the club, and that's what really, really put her over the edge.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I talk about male thought professions, especially when you are interacting or engaging with the woman for the first time. Any job can be presented within that spectrum of male thought professions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, personal trainer, law enforcement, package delivery, anything that gives discrete access for a brief period of time can be
gym sales.
yeah, exactly. Pharmaceutical sales, like the people who fly across the country, for a living. I mean, salesmen, they get so much. It's just ridiculous, because they not only have the access, but they're not there long enough to trip up the mistress, to disrupt the woman's schedule or program. They're flying out of town tomorrow, but they also have the mouthpiece. A salesman knows how to tell a story. A salesman knows how to set up a situation or a scenario. But even before that, the scene with Fuego and the gym director was like, she obviously wanted him, and I guess they hinted that they had smashed or whatever before. But once she saw that he was an exotic entertainer, she wanted him even more. And to the point of when he was denying, he was like, I just want to fix the computer, blah, blah, blah. She was like, what, you want me to pay? I was like, oh. I mean, this is a part. Okay, so for anybody who goes and watches the series, you'll see, okay, this little bunny, I mean, tight body, nice little face and all that good stuff. And she was ready to pay this man just so he would give her that fantasy service. And I'll segue from that back to the men who are in relationships, who are looking to enhance their sexual stature, who want to elevate their levels of intimacy with their partners. Taking that concept of a woman being aroused enough to the point of wanting to pay a man for his full services. Yeah, take that mentality. What gets a woman to that point? Yeah. What arouses a woman to such a state that she has to have it? Translate that into how you present your mystery to a woman, not giving her the full access to everything about you. I think a lot of guys, and myself included, when I was younger, make the mistake of giving a woman too much access to who he is, his lifestyle, his schedule, his calendar, his activities, his friends, all of these things, giving a woman the keys who don't deserve that much rank, which is why I presented the select man's roster. Yeah. Only the queen bee has the highest rank, okay? And even she doesn't have full access to everything about you. Under that, you've got the ride or die, okay? She is there for the exploration. Under that, you've got the healer, / artistic woman. They showed that full spectrum within the series. Yeah. Under that, you got the PYT, the pretty young thing. A lot of older guys think that, and it's understandable. It's because it's easy. A lot of when I say older guys, I mean men who are more seasoned, men who are over 45 or 55 or whatever, think that if they're attracted to a younger woman, maybe a woman in her 20s or whatever, they don't have anything to offer her outside of resources. And that's sort of the default, okay? Yeah, but I've known male exotic dancers who were in their 50s, okay? You can Google it. It's you know it's definitely a phenomenon. But the key to that, and we're just gonna hit this, and I'll throw back to you. When you're looking for the attraction of a younger woman, I always say you need to be able to mentor that
you
young
got to
woman.
lead her.
Absolutely, she is looking to learn something new. She is looking to.
Exactly.
A lot of people say men in America, especially black men in America, we like exotic women. We like something that's foreign. We're attracted to things that are outside our norm. Guess what? Women are the same way.
Yeah.
They like something exotic. They like something different, mysterious, unattainable, something that's new. So you've got this seasoned man who knows how to dress, who knows how to
Silver fox.
smell. Exactly. He knows how to present himself.
Mm-hmm.
He has this demeanor and this presence about him, this mystique.
Yes.
Are you kidding? You've got young women who are wondering how seasoned he is, how experienced he is. How does he know how to put it on a potential woman who can last all night? How quickly can he take her to those spaces of ecstasy? That's what's going through the average woman's mind, but especially the average younger woman in her 20s, because she hasn't, most likely she has not experienced the type of man who is seasoned enough, who's experienced enough, who knows enough about himself and the female anatomy to be able to bring her to a new height of ecstasy. So,
well, let me say something about that, because I'm quite sure somebody watched, oh, that don't happen. They're not in that world. I mean, it's just that simple. That's just a reality. If you in that world, that can be normal. That's a norm. It's scary how many younger women will get with an older man that has his shit together, and not necessarily monetarily. If he's in like good shape, he carries himself well, they actually like that. That's, because they feel like he know what he's doing. He know how to make them holler. He takes his time in the bedroom. They feeling all of that. And then every single thing that you mentioned, because they want direction. They want direction. They want you to show them something new. They'll complain about the younger guys who's not doing any of that. Yeah, they might look at a younger guy and say, oh, yeah, he's fine. But then they're complaining that the younger guys aren't approaching them or saying anything. And it's not necessarily they even want to marry the older guy. Not necessarily. They just want that experience. They want to see what he can teach them. And what you said about being a mentor, that older guy can open them up in ways that they don't realize. He can open them up, then say, okay, I've taught you enough. You go put it on that other guy and bring it to him. You go put it on the other guy, because he's experienced, he's cool, he's sitting back chilling.
You can make an entire video series on what you just said right there.
Hey, it is. But see, a lot of men, here's the issue. Let me just jump on that select, non-select thing. It's scary more and more. And I saw it at first, but now I'm seeing it deeper and deeper. I was like, wow, I thought I went to a deep level. I was like, wait a minute, there's a floor under that. A lot of guys just don't have that experience. They don't know. They haven't had that. They haven't seen a woman's true sexual nature. They don't understand that, because quite frankly, the biggest thing some older men have to worry about with younger women, if they're a silver fox, is that she is of age. That's the biggest thing you got to worry about, but they always checking, they're always looking, they're always thinking and stuff. Now, like I said, it's not like they want to marry the guy or anything, probably don't, but that experience, they want that experience. They want to learn, they want to be opened up.
Absolutely.
Now for younger guy, it's rare younger guys who can actually do that, unless that younger guy was opened up by some older women. Rare. A lot of times they learning, but see, that guy's older. He know how to find that spot. He knows the grip. He knows the grip. Shoot, you know how to like maybe just touch her right here, kiss her like on her wrist like that, and have her scream and all that other stuff. And see, the women thinking about that. And see, guys don't get that. But you know what? That's almost another video. We getting away from
no, absolutely, because a seasoned man knows what's next, and that's really what's at the foundation of a conversation like this and other conversations that has to do with knowing yourself, being self-aware as a man, understanding who you are physically, mentally, socially, spiritually, so that you know your boundaries, you know your talents, you know your weak points to work on, you know what you're capable of doing, and you know all of the spaces that you'd like to explore yourself. That's really what the journey is about. And the point you hit, I really want to highlight that because you said it. It's a very powerful point. At the point in a seasoned man mentoring of a younger woman, he is the all-time ultimate sort of master in her space when he says, okay, all this stuff that I taught you, go put that on that young man, or go explore this. With the fact that he does not have a lack mindset, he has an abundance mindset, really is what sets most women off. Not only just younger women, okay. Obviously, all types of women want to lock them down for various reasons. They want to keep all that good shit to themselves, understandably, human nature. But you inspire a woman, you empower. There you go. That's the word. You empower a woman, young, mid-range, seasoned woman, when you have enough of an abundance mindset to say, okay, now go put that on somebody else, or go, explore and see how this will work. Because now you've set a template and you've given her your value position in her life. You want to talk about value. You want to talk about a man's presence and him knowing his value. Again, that can be a whole nother conversation in and of itself. And I know you can relate to this. What comes up a lot with coaching clients is men trying to understand their value. Like, what value do I bring to a woman? I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a real estate mogul. I'm not a cryptocurrency guy. I'm not a trust fund baby. What value do I bring to a woman? The first thing I ask, who are you? Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
What do you know about yourself? What crafts can you do? What talents do you have? Okay. You can always work on your body in the gym. You can always work on your technique. We can go over techniques with women in a sensual space and intimate techniques. We can work on props. We can work on toys. We can work on all this stuff. But once you start to get your masculinity in check, once you start to get your self-awareness higher than it was before, you start to see, and you apply it, you start to see how valuable that is, how valuable masculinity, especially in a time like today when we're being bombarded by, all of these counter procreative measures. I'm going to put it that way, like that counter procreative measure. We talk about heterosexual sexuality here.
Yeah.
Now, if you're into two women, it's on you as the man. Okay. Always come back to center. You are the center force. You are the point of orientation. Okay. There are many other spaces that talk about alternative in that sense, but we're here to express to men that it's okay to embrace your heteronormative activity, your sensuality, your prowess as the type of man who can lead, the type of man who owns his masculinity and presents it to the type of women that they desire to acquire in a way that's comfortable, in a way that's second nature, in a way that is a reflex. That's how we know that a man has mastered his masculinity. It's not a thought. It's not a hat that you put on and take off. It's not a mask. It's a reflex, because it's now a part of your journey. It's part of who you are. It's not something that can be curtailed or separated, cut off by corporate America, or censored, right, in certain situations. And that brilliance and that vitality, that that spectrum and aspect of who you are is the ultimate value at the end of the day.
Boom, boom, boom. Man, this conversation started about all the Queen's men, but that just took it to another level. So we leaving it all of this in. That's the thing. That's the thing. But real quick, did you want to get anything else that you peeped in all the Queen's men that you wanted to highlight?
There are a lot of other elements. I don't know. We could. I don't know if you want to do another review. I'm sure that they may pick it up for another season, but other things like the. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, but I'll be watching for the dynamics that's presented. Trust me, I'm not a fan of the writing.
Yeah, the writing's crazy, and it's woke, as they say, But so for example, another element that I think was true to life was the costume designer. Okay, a good costume designer will speak volumes. It'll work wonders, especially if you're at the higher level of exotic entertainment. So I think that was an important thing. But beyond that, just the differentiation between the top dancers and the rookies and the newbies and the natural, obviously. It obviously was a setup for her nephew to shine, but it is what it is. I would say this: if this were a true to life situation, I talk about the alpha showpiece, right? Yeah. And the alpha showpiece is the center. He's the one that has his own feature, and that they highlight. Okay, he usually goes on last. The build up is for this person, and apparently, obviously, this is what they were putting together for the Alistair character.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, addiction. Well, let me say something about that. Let me say something real quick about that. Body game. See, this is the thing. I remember when I first came out with my book, Nice Guys and Players. It was at a vending event at a Black Expo in DC. I was there with my wife, and they put us in a section with 4 crews of male exotic dancers, and they were selling calendars. And it was a log jam over there. Like one time I went to the bathroom at one point. It was like halfway empty in the rest of the damn expo. Everybody was over there. Everybody. Women were grabbing these guys and taking them to the photo booth, everything. And it was crazy. Even had 2 women standing in front of my table talking about, I don't know why these girls going crazy. And these women steadily taking pictures. And at one point, the guys right in front of us, the women were drifting off to another table. And I looked over and said, dude, y'all got to take those shirts off. It's like they took the shirts off and the women came right back. And that was the first time I really saw that dynamic. And I had talked about like, getting your body together in my book, but I ain't emphasized it strongly. I emphasize a more holistic thing, like everything. But you just see that. And that brings me back to what I'm saying about body game. It's like everybody keep trying to fight it and say, well, we get this and that. And yeah, of course, men might have other things and they get it. But if you see, if you can experience how women treat you when they liking your body. I got some stories of women coming up to me in the streets when I was younger, really tight, and they handed me their phone numbers. Even now, even the OG, because I'm heavier than what I was in my other days, more stockier. But even then, I still get like random women be like, hey, how you doing? To me, I'm just walking along looking mean. They're like, hey, smiling and stuff. Sometimes they be having kids with them or something like that. I was like, hey, how you doing? It's like, oh, man. So imagine at my tightest. This is why I'm saying to guys, it's like, look, women are turned on by bodies, period. Don't fight it. You can watch that show. You can go to, you can look at the Magic Mike show. You can look at all these instances that they might even show on YouTube of like some dances at some bachelorette parties, divorce parties, or just parties. Like I saw a clip one time, these women were at just a party. It wasn't even anything special. And they got the guys dancing, they walking around, got their breast out and everything. And indeed, even in All the Queen's Men, that was that time they were at that divorce party. And these women, the main woman who organized it and the woman who's getting divorced, who was a big girl, they paid Midnight and Babyface just to stroke them. And Midnight was handling that big girl. He was handling her. And they were going in on it. And so my point is, it's like right there. What else do you need? You see this happening. Because if a woman can get that same thing for relatively free, what do you think she's going to do? As long as you're discreet. So, it's there. It's there. I don't know what the fight is over it,
Well, I mean, clearly it requires hard work. That's the first thing. But I don't know how you feel about me mentioning other content creators on here, but you could probably edit this out, obviously, if you want.
Keep them out. Keep them out. I don't feel like having to try to edit stuff. You can talk in general.
In general. So there was this public figure that was talked about, about the basketball player, the NBA basketball player who got taken to the cleaners by an IG model, right?
Oh yeah, you can mention him. I don't know him.
Yeah.
He ain't cool with me, so you can talk about his PJ Washington.
There was this one content creator who had a panel, and he was talking about how women can learn something from Brittany Renner, right? Who was the IG model who took advantage of PJ Washington. And the people on the panel, they didn't know what he was talking about. They had no clue what the host was talking about. And basically what he was saying in terms of women, how they can get a husband, or women, how they can keep a man, is keeping their body tight.
Yeah.
Is talking that shit to their man.
Yeah.
Because like, you and I discussed on a previous live stream, what Brittany Renner was doing with PJ Washington was reinforcing his manhood to her.
Oh yeah.
She had all kinds of techniques of reassuring him, of saying that he's the best lover ever, of having things ready for him. I'm sure she made love to his mind. And so when you take that and you flip that to the male side, you got all these women who are ready to leave marriages. You got all these women who are bored in relationships. A lot of women who can't wait to take the girls' night out or the girls' trip to an island. What do you think they're looking for? Obviously, they're looking for that type body. Obviously, they're looking for the exotic guy who knows just what to say and what not to say. Right? I think you famously said that a woman or a man had the woman. He had the poon in his hand until he opened his mouth. Right?
Man, I'm gonna tell you what, man. See, here's the thing. People don't look. There's a lot of stuff I don't talk about because I don't want anything unnecessary to come out. I'll put it like that. And trust me, there's people who watch. I already know there's some practicing attorneys who watch my stuff who I had a history with. So I'm very careful what I say sometimes. But that's all it is. They want that tight body, and they want that man to stroke their ego, to play to their vanity. Say, hey, girl, you're beautiful. You got beautiful eyes and stuff. Shoot, that's the fancy. Shoot, that's what these women will pay to go on sex tourist vacations. They're going to the islands. They're going to Bali. They're going to Gambia. They're going to Kenya. All for that thing. It's the body, and then is what they're saying. So the man's basically hitting them physically. He's hitting that womb, but he's also hitting that emotion, and that's all making her smile and everything. It's like boom. And it's like, some guys say, well, I wouldn't want to do that. It's like, hold up. You talking about a little bit of flattery. You turn her on sexually, there is so much you can get from it. because there are low-key street gigolos who might be just getting straight money from the women. You know, they getting paid, they getting clothes bought for them and everything because they want it. It's that drug, and they get addicted. And that's just a real life dynamic. See, that's one of the reasons I even wanted to review this. It was showing so much. In fact, there's one scene. Remember that scene when Doc was telling Amp how to really like cater to the woman? And he was like, nah, you gotta take it slow. What you rushing for? And it was just like, man, that is so much game right there. That's so much game. Because
Absolutely.
I like what you said earlier, you gotta build it up. You gotta have that mystery. Don't hand it to her right away. You know, make her work. Make her work a bit. Make her wonder. Don't tell her, don't come out and tell her every single thing you got. Keep some mystery. You know, just even in my real life, there's some women I might talk with, see around and everything. They have no idea what I do for a living. They got zero idea. Did if they actually ask, I say, oh yeah, I just do some stuff on the internet. Ain't nothing, no big deal. Like that.
Right. No,
and as I get to know them though, I'll say, you know, they get cool, they rise in rank. Then it's like, oh yeah, I do these videos here and everything, but still don't tell them everything. Right. You know, it's that thing, you building up that anticipation, because in their minds, once a woman finds you sexually attractive, she already making love to you. In her imagination, she already had it. You know, they already got some idea and stuff. All you have to do is come close to it in real life, and then show us some other stuff. Come do some real stuff, do some extra stuff. But it's right there. That's how much. See, I don't know why guys don't understand it. That's one of the reasons, you know, I will constantly refer to male exotic dancers. I'm like, women paying for it. Or gigolos, women paying for it. Sex tourism, they paying for it. What they paying for? If you can give them in their ordinary lives, just an ordinary person, give them that same thing, boom. The delivery driver, that's that's the fantasy real quick, you know, all of that. Unfortunately, some of these women teachers messing with their students, unfortunately. So, I mean, this is some real stuff. And what is it? It's the body. And it need to be a body, just to be clear, because that's another conversation, because it's not always the same type of body, but there's certain body types that really drive a woman crazy. You just have to have that right body type. And there's only a few out for showpieces. So it might be the athletic body. You could drive her crazy with the slim body if you know how to work it. You could drive her crazy with that construction worker body. In fact, a lot of, as you can attest to, a lot of women really like that body, you know, as long as it's not sloppy or anything. That's the general thing I would tell guys. Don't be sloppy. You can be a big man, just don't be a sloppy big man, you know?
Right. That's another quotable from the show. Remember when there was a food delivery woman who was delivering, you know, pasta, tortillas, chicken wings, all kind of stuff to the main dancers in their dressing room. What did Madam say? What did Eva say? She said, "If you get fat, you get fired. You get fat, you get fired." And when she said that, I'm like, damn, I remember those words, man, because they would do an inspection when we would come in. But it depends on the establishment. If you're doing private parties, it's different. But if you're at a club, yeah, they do inspections because they want those abs showing. They'd be like, all right, you need to hit the gym more. You need to diet down. Yeah. You need to cardio more. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a product. Yeah. You're showing a product. And that's really what the whole establishment is there for. You're the main product. You're the main event. And so keeping your anatomy tight, keeping yourself well groomed, smelling good, and having the mentality of taking it slow are the most important elements to it. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that has to do with intimacy too. Men, we can be aroused in less than 5 seconds or whatever, ready to go. But with a woman, the majority of the time, they can't go from 0 to 60 unless they've already been fantasizing over the course of the day. Yeah. So when you're engaging in a woman and you're looking to arouse her, it has to be a gradual progression.
Exactly.
And that's just the difference between sexes. But it's not good, bad, or ugly, or in between. That's just the beauty of nature. And understanding just that little dynamic will give you a decided technical advantage over the next guy. Knowing that it takes caressing a woman, knowing that it takes, grabbing her, grabbing her collar and saying, "Bring your little, over here," and knowing that that's going to do something to her mentally, and that's going to translate into her getting wet, into her getting engorged down in her region, so that it's craving for you to enter. Those little nuanced sort of elements make the difference between your success or plateauing as an intimate partner. So
exactly. And real quick for the fellas listening to this, if she getting her wet and she says, "Stick it is," like, "Oh wait, I'm in control. You're under punishment. You got to wait a little bit longer." It's like, "You're punished now." Nope. Shoot. You got to have her begging, and then even then make her wet. Shoot, she'll be gushing. It'd be like, good gracious, but you'll get that clink, 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 clink. Shoot, if you're really good, she'll have that orgasm beforehand, but that's another show before you even penetrate.
And listen, it works to your advantage ultimately, because she's going to come within the first 3 minutes, and that's really, absolutely. And I've covered this before. A lot of women come multiple times, but want to keep going because they want to see how many times they can come before the session's over with.
Yeah,
a lot of men aren't aware of that. But if you brought her to a state of arousal, whereas she's fully aroused, she is definitely coming within the first 3 to 5 minutes of penetration during sex. She may or may not indicate that, but that all depends on your level of communication, your level of comfortability. If you want her to indicate that she's coming, to signal, what you will do, how you're going to transition. Now you can rest assured that the rest of this session is for you. You know what I'm saying, as the man. But again, that's another dynamic that fits into your sexual stature, how you implement your prowess, how you're able to mentor a potential partner, and how you go along in your journey of masculine mastery ultimately.
Yeah, man. So real quick, man, because wow, this could be a regular series, just really getting into this deeper aspect. Hey, but real quick, because do you have any final words about all the Queen's men? Any final words?
I definitely recommend that guys watch it. Women will watch it for the gratuitous sort of elements, but in terms of men observing how women react to showpieces, okay, and to the variety, and they had a variety of body types. They didn't just have one cookie cutter style of man there. Okay, Babyface was a smaller guy. Okay, but he just had definition. Fuego was a skinnier guy. He just had a developed physique for his body frame. Doc was obviously more, he was stockier. He had more development. He's wider. And Midnight was the biggest one out of all of them. But they all play to their specific body type, which means that there's not one cookie cutter version of a man that arouses women, but they owned their masculinity. And at no point, especially when they hit that stage, could anybody take away from their masculine prowess. And that's the most important thing that men do well to take away from this series. Don't give a fuck about the plot. Don't think about the writing or anything like that.
Not to.
Just look at how the women react when they see the male form in all its glory. That's what you key in on and see how there's so many opportunities for you to present your version, your specific version of masculine mastery. and then own it from there.
Boom. And I wanted to point, because I peeped that too, because if you look at two men that were driving the women crazy, Doc and Midnight, they definitely weren't over 6 feet.
Oh yeah.
You get some guys, they want to swear like, oh, you gotta have that height or you gotta be this slim. No, be the best. Women like different things. They all respond to different things. You just have to find which women are responding to your particular package. Like with me, like I said, no, I'm bigger than what I was, fitness model, like, Marine type when I was younger, thicker now. But I've had women say, hey, we love it. Like, let's, we want to put some weight on you. They like that. You just have to find, okay, who's down for it. And see, I like that because those brick house women like men are, our body builds and stuff. So we like, shit, yes, hell yeah. But that's the thing. So that's the thing to learn from it. Just really look at the dynamics. Shoot, you might even want to watch it and fast forward through like all the other drama. Because like I said, we wouldn't have this conversation if it was just that show, just the other stuff. Please, I wouldn't. Right. I can't give it 5 stars on that. But the dynamics were real. The shadow world stuff was real. The cheating and how the women were getting down, that was real. The married women getting down with these guys, that was real. The woman at the gym giving this dude a blowjob, that was real. Everything was real. So that's the thing. That's what you want to learn. And don't think, well, I'm not a male exotic dancer. You don't need to be. Hit the damn gym. Get your physical prowess together. Learn, peep the game. They would give you the game, just the same thing that these professional seducers were using. You can use that on a regular woman. Exactly. Out in the streets. And that's the beauty of it. That's the game. And I would take that game against anybody, what they want to say. I would take it, I will put it against anybody's game. So you got one last word?
Yes, absolutely.
Go ahead.
Just to put a bow on everything that we discussed, I'm a seduction coach. I'm not a dating coach. I'm not a marriage counselor. I'm not a relationship coach. You classify yourself as a dating coach / sex coach. Mm-hmm. I am the one who shows men how to present the package to get what they want up front. You're the one who shows men how to manage the package once they receive it. Mm-hmm. How do they make this last? How do they explore whether or not this is the woman for them in the relationship aspect of it? Mm-hmm. Not one is better than the other. And I think that a lot of people in this space get that confused. Mm-hmm. There are so many aspects to coaching that men do well to appreciate and that they can apply, across the spectrum of their experiences. Mm-hmm. And I want to be very, very specific and clear when we explain what our contributions to this space include. Yeah. So very, very gracious to be in this space. Always up for a consultation. Definitely go ahead and get your copy of the Seduction Scriptures. Go ahead and get all 4 copies of Rom's books. They're great reads and great resources. That's the most important thing. Using this space as a resource. Just try it for yourself and see what works for you. So exactly. So want to thank you for coming, and Cousin T Taw's channel is in the description box. Go there, sub this brother, check out his Patreon. All his information is in the description box of any of his videos. Check them out. I strongly advise it. So we want to thank y'all, and let us know in the comments what y'all think, and let us know if y'all want to see some again. We can go deep. This is easy. We can go deep. Y'all know I'm still focused about doing live stuff, but I'll just put it like this. I stay busier than I really acknowledge to y'all. I stay real busy.
Yeah. I'll tell you some stuff after we get off here. Man, but
It's real
anyway,
life.
y'all.
It's real life.
Hey, so I want to thank y'all. Thank you, Cousin T Taw, once again. And yes, we'll probably do this again. Oh, just real quick, the 6th Self-Improvement Summit will be happening in Washington, D.C. on November 6th. And I'll put C Boogie's email in the description box. We'll both be there, and we'll probably have some extra stuff to go along with the summit there. So definitely hit us up, hit C Boogie up, sign up for it, and it's going to be the bomb. So definitely you can see us in person. Then you get some deeper stuff that we're keeping off the air. So anyway, y'all, want to thank y'all, and peace and blessings, everyone.
Peace.